Perfect. Oh yeah, that's way more salt. Alright, so far, cut up the cabbage, threw it in the crock, made a bunch of salt water to taste. I just wanted it to taste like the ocean, super salty. The saltier, the crispier, and the less salt, the more like loose it'll be. I think more salt if you're gonna leave it for longer, and if it's gonna be hotter, I feel like more salt also, just to keep it from getting all gooey. Then I'm gonna put these on top. It looks like I have too much water, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna empty out a little bit of the water. I have a bunch of excess at the top. I'm not even going to try to push the excess down. I'm just going to pull it out. Get a strainer. So I'll show you what I'm working with here. Got some excess that's floating to the top. I'm just going to get that off. Get that. Because what's going to happen is that top layer is going to basically cover in a kind of pinkish white mold, I've noticed, and the weights are pushing down the bulk of the sauerkraut. So in about a month, when I pull this out, the top, I'm going to have to pull this top layer of mold off, and then I'll have those dowels that'll have pressed all of the vegetable content down, so that will all be in an alkaline state. That will all be fermenting properly. But that top part, you have to be really careful not to mix anything from that top area into the main contents at the bottom. So that's why I'm just removing the bulk of the excess of this stuff from the top of it. I'll just like add that to a salad. It's really good. It's salty. It's nice. So I'll just keep doing that. That doesn't fit. It really doesn't have to be perfect, but you just don't want a lot up there. So ideally, like this. So you can see the weights are there, down there. What I'll do now is I'm going to fill this area up with water. Oh, it's nice and salty. Just enough water to then put the lid on. There we go. That's how I make sauerkraut. Alright, so now I'm going to go put it somewhere that's cold and leave it for about a month. And yeah, pretty simple. Just get yourself some cabbages, cut them up, put them in a crock. You can even do it in a bucket and weigh it down with a plastic bag full of water. Main concepts to understand is that the cabbage needs to be in an alkaline environment, meaning it needs to be in salty water. And then the saltier, the more crispy it'll be. The less salty, the less crispy, and ideally the less time that you'll be leaving it. It'll ferment faster. So, and ideally if you have some sauerkraut already, you can take a little bit of that juice and put it in the crock. I don't have any, so, or actually might have some, so I'll maybe put a little bit of that in just to start it, if it's a sauerkraut that you like the taste of. Otherwise, just let it do its thing. It'll ferment beautifully. You'll even probably smell it if it's somewhere that you're moving through often. Sometimes sauerkraut has a nice fart smell a couple days in, especially in a warm environment. So other than that, you don't want to check it too often, because that, especially if you have a crock like this, you want to leave that lid just like that. So the beauty of this crock is that it has, maybe hard to see, but it has this little, where is it? There's a small opening here. And what happens is that the air bubbles push up from the sauerkraut and they will come out through the water. So it acts as a filter for only letting air out and not letting air in. So ideally there's just less contaminants going in and the bubbles have to come out. So whatever you're doing your sauerkraut in, you have to be able to release air from it. Otherwise you're basically creating a bomb. So happy sauerkrauting. Ciao.